I'm Dana K. White. I am the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life, and I'm the creator of the No Mess Decluttering process. Today I'm going to give you my top 3 tips to declutter for a move. Moving and decluttering go together. It's just fact, right? So it can be very daunting when you decide that you're going to move. The number one first thing to do is take a trash tour. The minute that you even have the thought in your brain, I'd like to move, you don't want to move anything that you don't absolutely have to. So the number one thing to do is to take a trash tour. So grab a trash bag, recycling bin if you already have one, and walk through the house, starting in the most visible spaces, and throw away trash. And when I say trash, I mean actual trash. I'm not talking about throwing away good stuff that otherwise you would do something else with. No, I mean actually just look for trash, because what this is going to do is it's going to immediately start to change your perspective on your stuff. Your perspective is different because you're thinking about moving. Things that maybe sat there as oh yeah, I'll do something with that someday. When the thought of moving comes along and you realize, oh, if I was going to move that thing, I'd have to pick it up and pack it and either pay to have it moved or use my own muscles to move it and use up the space in my vehicle to get it there and then unpack it and then figure out what that item that I set aside because it was broken and I thought maybe I'll fix that someday or maybe I'll use it for something else. Suddenly it reveals itself as trash. So it's a great way to get started immediately, get stuff into the trash bag, which is the easiest of the decision-free stuff, and it immediately makes an impact and makes you feel better because everything that goes in this trash bag is something I'm not going to have to move. The other thing that it does, and this is the same thing that it does in my no mess decluttering process. We use this trash step all the time, but especially when you're moving, if you take a trash tour, going through your house with no commitment other than I am going to look for and get rid of actual trash, things that can be thrown away, your brain now is going to see all the things that you have to deal with, okay? Where the thought of moving, the thought of packing up for a move, knowing that I'm going to have to deal with and touch every single item in my home is so overwhelming. Looking for trash, taking this trash tour helps diminish that feeling of being overwhelmed, because as I'm looking for trash, I'm also looking at other individual items. I am gaining an understanding of what is in my house and what there is that I'm going to have to deal with throughout this moving process. Okay, so I'm immediately making progress, but I'm also getting a much better understanding of what's coming along the way. And even though it can be hard to acknowledge everything there is to do, there's something that happens in your brain when now you know what you're going to deal with, as opposed to just feeling overwhelmed because I think there's so much I'm going to have to do. But once you start to see those individual items, you start to be ready to move throughout this process of moving. Okay, so number 1, start with a trash tour. After the trash tour, follow it up with a donation tour. But don't underestimate the power of the trash tour through the house. Throwing stuff away that has no business being dealt with over the course of a move. Okay, my second top tip for decluttering for a move: pack for the house that you're moving into, not the house that you're moving out of. Whether you're downsizing to a smaller house or you're just moving into a house that's similar, maybe it's even bigger in size. Take the square footage of that house, go online, look for a moving box calculator, and see how many boxes are recommended for the size of the house that you're moving into. Whether this house has way too much stuff in it, whether you are dreaming of having a bigger house, go with the actual math here. This is what I did when I moved. There's a video right there that explains my thought processes, what I did, all of that, okay? It worked extremely well, and this is one of the top things that I recommend to people who are thinking about moving. Buy boxes or gather boxes according to the actual math from the moving box calculator that says these are how many boxes a normal house of this size should need, okay? And then get those boxes and let those boxes help you make your decluttering decisions. Let those boxes be the limit to how much stuff you're going to pack. Okay, now this can sound daunting if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say boxes being a limit. Go watch this video about the container concept, and this is the way to embrace the container concept within the moving process. The short version is that the space you have is the space that you have. You put your favorite things into that space first. You let the space be the limit. In this case, the space is your moving boxes. You let the moving boxes be the limit to what you can take. And then that means you're not going to be taking things into the new space that you don't have the room for, okay? Now, I know that some of you are feeling panic in your soul right now, and you think, no, I just need to get more moving boxes. You can get more moving boxes, but even if you start out with the number of boxes recommended for the space that you're going into, something happens in your brain. It rarely becomes an issue of filling those boxes completely to the top and then agonizing over the fact that you can't fit anymore. There is something about knowing that the space that I have to put these things into to pack is limited. It's finite. It is not an endless possibilities kind of a situation, right? This space is finite. So that means that as I put something in there, something happens in my brain and it reveals to me, oh, this thing deserves to go. And as I pick up another item, my brain just goes, oh, this doesn't deserve space. Just knowing there is a limit to the amount of space that I have naturally reveals what's worth packing and what's not worth packing. Okay, so go ahead and give that a try. Say, I'm going to try this. Give yourself permission. You can always get more boxes. But if you go into it with this mentality that I am going to pack for the house that I'm moving into, as opposed to just packing up all the stuff I have, it really changes things and goes so far in your desire to use this move as an opportunity to declutter. The third of my top 3 tips to declutter for a move. Every single time you put something in a box to move it, have a donatable donate box right next to the box that you're packing and a trash bag right next to the box that you're packing. Those decluttering supplies need to be as easy to access as the box that you're packing to move. So that as you go to put something into this box that's then going to be hauled over to your new home and then unpacked and dealt with there, every time you touch something, it often will reveal to you, oh, that's right, this is trash. Or, oh, that's right, this is an obvious donation. The donate box is right there. If it reveals itself as, oh, this is actually trash, the trash bag is right there, okay? So have those things right alongside your moving boxes as you're packing them, okay? So those are my top 3 tips. Number 1, do a trash tour. Follow it with a donation tour if you want to, but it is so powerful to do a trash tour looking for obvious trash, which will then also give you such a better understanding of what you have ahead of you in this process. Number 2, pack for the house that you're moving into, not the house that you're moving out of. That means get boxes according to the math of the space of the house that you are moving into, and then pack your favorite things first, and it will naturally sort out what things are actually favorites and what things don't deserve to go to your new home. And number 3, every time you pack a box, have a donatable donate box and a trash bag right next to the box that you're packing, so that if you pick something up and it reveals itself as obvious trash or a donation, you can stick it right into the donate box or right into the trash as easily as sticking it into the moving box. Okay, I hope this was helpful. If you're moving, it's gonna be tough, but you can totally do this. All right, I will talk to y'all next week.